Hi, and welcome to Pet Pals. Every week we showcase animals available for adoption through the Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Today we've got a look at 5 dogs and 5 cats that are looking for forever homes. And we're going to start off with one of our senior dogs that's in the shelter. This is Xena. Xena is 7 years old, so she's not senior, but she's getting towards that mature level of age for a dog. She's a pit bull mix. And she was turned in. She was previously owned, and unfortunately, her owner passed away. So the folks that were taking care of her were moving into senior or assisted living and could not keep her. We are an open admission shelter at Frederick County Animal Control Division, and that means that we take in animals within Frederick County that need us regardless of circumstance. So Xena is a good example of there's nothing wrong with the dog, that just the circumstances of the family or the family members have changed, so that's how she ended up to be with us. She's about 53 pounds. She's in relatively good health for her age. We've brought her up to speed on all the vaccines that she's needed. We've tested her for heartworm, Lyme disease, Ehrlichia, anaplasma, and all of that has tested negative. We have her recommended for older children or adult home only because she can be a little particular about her friends, and being a little bit older, we don't want to place her maybe with a toddler that might be very enthusiastic about life, and toddlers are what they are. They love to pull on ears and tails, and we just want to avoid that with this girl. She's used to living with an older person. She has a great temperament. We do color code our dogs. We behavior assess all of our dogs, and Xena is color coded green only because in the kennels she's a little bit shy, but as you can see, she's pretty photogenic. She's not camera shy at all, and she's very agreeable to being petted. So if you're looking for an older dog, this is Xena, available for adoption. Next puppy we're going to take a look at is Tango. Tango is about 3 years old. He is a Chow Chow Pit Bull mix. And Tango may look familiar. Tango was adopted from the shelter. The folks had him for a while, and then again, their circumstances changed. So a lot of times of the 5,000 or so animals that we take in every year, it's never really about the animal being an issue. It's about people's circumstances change. So what we encourage is that when you are considering adopting an animal, especially now around the holiday time, people think that's a good idea, and it may very well be depending on your circumstances. You just want to make sure that you commit to this animal for their entire life, regardless of what time of year you adopt. Tango is only 3. Given his breed and his size, he can well live into being 10 years old, 12 years old, so he's got a long ways to go yet. So you want to make sure when you're thinking of your future as a family that you can incorporate any new arrivals, any children, any moves, any downsizing. And even a dog his size, sometimes there's a misperception that he would need a lot of space, which is why his people turned him in. Dogs, you can see where he's sitting. He's just sitting on Randy's feet. So they don't need acreage. They need exercise, definitely. They need walks. They need to be socialized. They need to be taken places. But for the most part, dogs are very social creatures, and they will make it work. If you don't have a large yard, if you don't have a fenced yard, if you don't have a large house, they'll make it work. So Tango is about 74 pounds, just something to keep in mind if you're considering adopting. He's already neutered. He's brought up to speed on vaccines, deworming. He is already microchipped. Part of our adoption process includes animals that leave here adopted. They're all spayed, neutered, and microchipped, and that's just part of it. That's just where the whole process starts. He has, let's see, because he's been around dogs, he's been around cats, has not been around cats for quite a while, but he's not very predatory. He's also color-coded green. He's pretty busy, he's pretty strong. So what we would recommend if you're interested in Tango, come in, take a look at him, visit with him, take him for a walk on leash and see how it works. But this is Tango, again, only 3 years old and looking for a forever home. This beautiful girl is Annalena. We gave a beautiful name to a beautiful dog. She is about 6 to 7 years old. She came to us as a stray from the Lagore Bridge area back on December 3rd. So she's been with us for a couple of weeks, and you're going to see her counterpart in just a few minutes. But Annalena is overweight. She's about 93 pounds, very, very smart. And part of the joy and the challenge of working in a shelter, when we look at these stray dogs that come in, we don't know exactly what breed they are. So what we do is we pick the predominant breed that we see. So with Annalena and Patience, who's the other dog that you'll see shortly, German Shepherd is predominantly what we see, but there might be Siberian Husky in there, there might be Rottweiler because of the stocky build, maybe Hound. So when you adopt a dog from the shelter, you may certainly, there are DNA tests that you can have done, or you can just kind of be creative and kind of play the game of figuring out what they are. But her demeanor is very affectionate. You can see she's a very confident dog. We have her color-coded as orange. We color-code dogs, cats, and bunnies according to their personalities. Green are the ones that are a little more shy or energetic. Blue are, for dogs at least, they're the lap dogs, and I always tease that they make you breakfast and clean dishes afterwards. And then orange is sort of middle of the road. So Annalena is middle of the road. She has manners. She could use some more work, but definitely is a good girl, would make a great companion. There are no restrictions on her adoption. We think she would be fine with children, with other people of all ages. She did come in with another dog, so we can go ahead and say that she is somewhat dog friendly. That is part of our behavior assessment. She lived with Patience, the other dog, here at the shelter. If you do have an existing dog, however, and you're interested in adopting Annalena, we recommend that you bring your dog to the shelter to do what we call a meet and greet. But Annalena, she would need some slimming down, and that can be accomplished by measuring her food is a good start, and then a few extra walks, and this time of year that's good for the whole entire family. So, but this is Annalena looking for a home. This little girl is the younger one in the family. This is Patience. She is related to Annalena somehow. We're not quite sure how. Annalena was about 6 to 7. Patience is only about 2. And they did arrive together as strays. An animal control officer brought them in on December 3rd from, again, the Lagore Bridge Road area. So again, with these guys, we've assumed that they are German Shepherd mixes. So predominantly Shepherd, but again, there could be Hound, there could be Siberian Husky, there could be Rottweiler. There's a whole bunch of different dog genes in there. So we don't really, we try to categorize them to the breed that we see significantly. So we have her down and Annalena's Shepherd mixes. But Patience is only about 2 years old. She's a little more shy. When they came into the shelter, we did have them housed together, and now they have independent housing, but they're side by side. And the reason for that is they are big dogs, and sometimes when you've got large animals and you put them in a smaller space, they start picking on each other, or they don't get along as well as they once did. So that's the main reason. There's nothing wrong with either girl. They are social, they like each other, they still see each other. When they're out in the play yards, I think at times we put them together for morning cleanup. So we're not trying to punish them by any means, but we know that 24/7 in the same smaller size cage was taking a toll on both dogs. We have brought Patience up to speed on everything that she needs as far as vaccines. Prior to leaving here, she will be spayed. The adoption fee for adult dogs is $92.50, and that covers getting them spayed, neutered, microchipped, and we register that microchip. So that's important to know. If you get a microchip done somewhere else, either at your vet or at a clinic, one thing you want to make sure is that that the microchip gets registered, and that is something that we do at Frederick County Animal Control, whether it's a return to owner or an adoption. We register your name, your address, your phone number, alternate contact, and all of that is so important, because without that information, when we scan an animal that comes in, the only information that shows up on the scanner is the microchip number. It doesn't have the owner information. So there's two components to microchipping: the actual implanting of the chip, and then the second is the registering the information. But prior to leaving here, Patience will have all of that done, so we're looking to finding her a home pretty quickly. But again, this is Patience looking for a forever home. This adorable little guy is Joseph. He came to us as a stray, so we've given him that name. We have no idea what his name actually is. He came to us from the Ballinger Creek, Tuscarora, Adamstown area. When he arrived, his fur was matted and overgrown, so we gave him a haircut here at the shelter, and I think he looks very handsome, especially with that sweater that one of our technicians has dressed him in. So he's certainly festive and ready for the holidays. Joseph is about 6 to 7 years old, again a Maltese mix, and he only weighs about 9 pounds. So when you look at the dogs that we've just recently looked at, Patience, Annalena, and so forth, he's on the other end of the spectrum. We've brought him up to speed on vaccines, deworming. He does have some insignificant health issues, but we do disclose everything we know about animals medically, behaviorally, temperamentally prior to adoption. And with Joseph, he's got something called luxating patellas, a grade 2 out of 4. So his knees are a little bit weak. With that can be inherent to the breed that he is, or if he's a mix, the mix that's in there as well. You would want to just keep an eye on it. You want to talk to your veterinarian. With your adoption from animal control, you're entitled to a free vet exam with every animal that leaves here. So we want to encourage pet adopters out there and pet owners that you should have a relationship with a veterinarian that you're comfortable with to at least see your animal once a year, at least, unless they get sick. Then of course that requires another visit. Just to go over the basics of what your animal might need. So long term, it doesn't affect Joseph. You want to just make sure you keep an eye on it. He might, do best with limited stairs, with maybe some joint supplement. But again, that's your veterinarian's call. But as far as me giving you that information, it's to inform you that he does have luxating patellas. He's got some moderate to severe dental disease, would need a dental, and that's not unusual. When dogs get to be about 6 or 7 years old, that kind of comes up on the radar. It's kind of like getting the oil changed in your vehicle. That it's a regular, normal thing that most dogs do need a dental at least once in their life. And again, another discussion point for your veterinarian to kind of decide how often and when he might need that. But this is Joseph, an adorable little Maltese mix looking for a forever home. And it wraps it up for the dog section of this week's Pet Pals. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got some kittens that we're going to take a look at that are also looking for homes before the holidays.
Looking to get fit this winter? Sign up for some of our fitness classes that will fit you best. Our classes range from Adult Active Yoga, Mighty Fit Yoga, Cardio Sculpting Party, Power Yoga, Mighty Fit Pilates, Sharqui and Total Body Fit, Yoga Mind, Body and Spirit, Sula's Hoop Body Sculpt Class, or Walking Fitness Club. For more information, go to recreator.com.
Transit services of Frederick County. With rising gas prices, transit is a less expensive way to work or school. Most commuter bus routes run every 30 minutes during weekday morning and afternoon rush hours. Bus stops are within a quarter mile of most businesses in downtown Frederick. Transit offers shuttles to Thurmont, Emmitsburg, Brunswick, Jefferson, Spring Ridge, and Route 85, or take a shuttle to the MARC train for an easy commute. Find out what nearly 1 million passengers already know. Transit connects people and places.
The most important piece of equipment in your home is your smoke alarm, and it is probably the easiest and cheapest to maintain. Keep your family safe this year with regular smoke alarm checkups. Regularly check the batteries and perform periodic testing. For more information about smoke alarm safety and maintenance, visit the Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services website at frederickcountymd.gov/smoke alarms.
Ever wonder whether something is recyclable or not? Or maybe you forgot to set your cart out at the curb. Now there's an app for that. Download the free My Waste app for tablets and smartphones to have convenient access to a wide range of recycling and disposal information. Be notified of upcoming events, see your recycling schedule and set customized reminders, as well as instantly report curbside problems. Find out more at frederickcountymd.gov/mywaste.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. We took a look at 5 dogs that are in need of homes. Now we're going to take a look at kittens. And the first kitten that we're going to take a look at is Junebug. She is at this point about 6 months old. She came to the shelter back in October. She was turned in with her sisters that you saw on last week's Pet Pals, Peaches and Pepper. So Junebug is the 3rd girl in the set, and there's also a boy in that collection as well. But they are about 6 months old. They are very social kittens, and the reason we're doing kittens for this part of the show is that it's unusual for shelters in this area this time of year to have as many kittens as we do. So we have kittens on our adoption floor waiting for homes like Junebug. We also have a number of underage kittens that are still in foster care that will be returning to the shelter for adoption. So if you're looking for a kitten, you may certainly come in and pick one of the many that we have available for adoption, or if you just want to wait and see what comes back from foster care. But again, it's unusual this time of year, but we're still getting kittens in. Junebug is about 6 months old. All of our cats and kittens on the adoption floor are tested for 2 viruses, feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus. She has tested negative, as the other cats on our adoption floor have as well. And that's important to know if you have an existing cat that you want to introduce a new friend to, or if you plan on introducing a cat in the future. You want to know the status of those viruses on the cats that you have in your home. So that's one reason that we go ahead and do that. The adoption fee for kittens and cats as well is $97.50. It's a little higher than dogs because of the $5 difference because of the test that we run automatically for cats and kittens. Every year we take in twice as many felines as we do other species. So of the about 5,000 animals we took in last year, about 3,200 were cats and kittens. So again, prior to leaving here, Junebug will be spayed. Any of her feline counterparts that are male will be neutered, and that is our way of contributing to reducing and eliminating the overpopulation of cats and kittens. But this is Junebug looking for a forever home. So today is December 19th. This is Joey, who came back to the shelter December 18th, and I can't imagine he's going to be here very long. Joey was in foster care, and he is described as an acrobat. He's very active. He likes to explore his environment. At this point, he's only about 4 months old, and you can see how active and adorable he is. So he's quite entertaining to watch in his cage, and from what his foster care provider has written, very entertaining to watch overall. He loves to be cuddled, and she states here that he purrs very loudly, which we're noticing here today. And also, it's kind of cute, in his the notes, the veterinarian, when she looked at him, marked down that it was difficult to hear his heart because he was purring so loudly. So that's a good thing. He's very happy little guy, and typical for kittens. Very affectionate, very playful. Joey is actually color-coded blue, and that's not necessarily unusual for kittens, but blue just means that they're very easy to handle, they're very social, and you can see just the dynamics there of he's enjoying being pet, he's enjoying kind of just laying around on Randy's lap. So that's typical for his demeanor. He does have 2 siblings that came in with him. They actually started as, looks like outdoor barn cats that were left on a property. And the person had them, I guess, since they were born, and then could no longer take care of them. So they did the appropriate thing and brought them to the shelter. Every year we take in hundreds of kittens, And again, this time of year, it's fairly unusual to have as many kittens as we do, but we do have them. And he's just one example that of a kitten that's been in foster care and then returned to the shelter. And there will be many more like him coming back in the next few weeks. So we encourage you, if you're looking for a kitten this time of year, now's the time to come in. This little girl is Oreo. She's about 4 months old, came to the shelter early December, and she arrived previously owned. The folks that brought her in found her about a month ago and kept her for a while, and then they've got other cats and were unable to keep her any further. So they brought her to us. She has been brought up to speed on vaccines, deworming, flea and tick prevention. We've also snap tested her negative for leukemia and FIV. She is very affectionate. She does have a voice to her, and she's one of those kittens. She's not showing it now, but she can hold up her end of the conversation quite nicely. She's been with us again since December 4th, so we've kind of just been monitoring her. When she came in, she had a little bit of a tummy upset, so we wanted to make sure that that was all straightened out before we put her on the adoption floor. Again, at Frederick County Animal Control Division, we are an open admission shelter, meaning we do not turn animals away that need us, provided that the animals are from within Frederick County, and Oreo certainly falls into that category. We take in about 3,000 or so cats and kittens of the almost 5,000 animals that we took in last year. And we do provide medical care. We do a lot of prevention. When animals arrive, we make sure that they have the vaccines that they need to prevent them from getting sick in the shelter. We do preventions for intestinal parasites. For the cats, we automatically go ahead and test for leukemia and FIV. So there's a lot of medical background and preventatives that go into place. So when you're adopting an animal from the shelter, yes, there's a fee. $97.50 is our kitten adoption fee, but it covers so much. It covers the spaying, the neutering, the microchipping, the registration, all the vaccines, any medical attention, medical care they might need. And not every animal arrives in stellar condition. Some arrive sick, some arrive injured, and we do everything that we can to make sure that we can improve their health, make sure that they are healthy when they are leaving the shelter. So this is Oreo, one of our actually many affectionate cats that's available for adoption on the adoption floor. This little girl is Lily, and she is still a kitten. She's somewhere around 6 months old. Her weight is 6 pounds, which puts her at about 6 months of age, and she has a very beautiful coat. She is what we consider a diluted tortoiseshell. So tortoiseshell cats with white. Tortoiseshell cats are the black and orange that are blended together, and the diluted part is that the black and orange turn into a gray and a peach colored. So she's a diluted tortoiseshell with white. She's about 6 months old, 6 pounds. Lily came to us previously owned, and the reason she ended up at the shelter is that she went to, she was living with people that the landlord would not allow a second cat. So when you adopt from the shelter, one of the things that we do check is landlord approval. We feel that if you are renting a home from someone, you need to be aware of what the rules are and respect what the rules are. If you've established with your landlord you can or cannot have pets, you want to make sure that you're on board with that. We follow up just in the sense that we want to make sure wherever an animal is placed that it's forever, that it won't be coming back to the shelter. And unfortunately, oftentimes if we were to skirt around that, landlords do find out about pets that are kind of snuck into homes, and the animals end up back in shelters. So we try to avoid all that. So if you're interested in adopting, you want to make sure that you have permission from your landlord. A conversation ahead of time certainly works wonders. And if your landlord is hesitant, you can have the discussion. You know, cats are very clean. The cats that come from the shelter are litter box trained, and if there is an issue, we can give you tips and tricks on how to resolve that. Even if you don't have a shelter cat, and if you do have cat at home that has issues, we can offer some resources for solutions on that. But Lily is available for adoption. Again, she ended up here through no fault of her own. Just the landlord found out about her, so she was turned into us. But she's very affectionate, on the larger side for a 6-month-old cat, but again, very, very sweet demeanor. So this is Lily looking for a forever home. The last little kitten that we're going to take a look at isn't quite so little, but he's still a kitten. This is Kitty. She is about 8 months old. She weighs about 7 pounds and a few ounces, so that puts her towards the 8-month-old mark. We gained Kitty from a previous owner. They had her in an apartment, and the rules changed as far as pet ownership, so they had to relinquish her to the shelter. So she came in just a couple of days ago, but she's done remarkably well in acclimating. She's very affectionate. She's gotten used to the routine. When animals come in, we do give them some time to acclimate. Not every animal that arrives here goes directly on the adoption floor. With dogs, we assess their behavior. With cats, we may have to give them a couple of days just to get used to the routine. The last thing we want to do is put an animal on the adoption floor where there's lots of well-intentioned visitors, volunteers, staff people that move through the building on a consistent basis. And sometimes that can be scary. So for animals that are shy, we do keep them back in our isolation areas just for a little bit longer than normal. But Kitty came in just a couple of days ago, and she's already on the adoption floor. We've brought her up to speed on everything she needs. What we would recommend is that, again, going back to if you rent where you live, you do want to have a conversation with your landlord. This time of year, a lot of people look forward to incorporating pets into their families, and we certainly advocate that. However, you want to make sure you're following the rules. You just don't want to try to sneak in an animal, because that does not ever end well for either the animal or the landlord-tenant situation. So, but Kitty is here with us now looking for a forever home. Looks like she has been around children. She's been around babies and toddlers. She seems perfectly fine being handled, being picked up, being held, and again, a very affectionate little girl. So we are looking forward to hopefully finding her a home before the upcoming holidays. And that wraps it up for this week's Pet Pals. We appreciate your watching every week. We're here with showcasing animals that are available for adoption through the Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We wish you and your family and your pet family a wonderful holiday season, a safe holiday season, and we'll see you next time on Pet Pals.
The Frederick County Health Department's On the Mark Adolescent Clubhouse and Sober Activity Center is a safe, community-based clubhouse which provides a starting point or continuing care link for peers supporting one another through the process of recovery. Membership is free and open to youth from ages 12 to 17 who are in treatment for substance abuse or are struggling in this area or who have completed a related program. The clubhouse offers fun and sober games, homework help, skills building, and many other activities. Located in the Health Department at 350 Montague Lane in Frederick, Maryland, the clubhouse is open Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. To learn more, call 301-600-1126 or visit frederickcountymd.gov on the Mark. Please also like us on Facebook at On the Mark Clubhouse.
Credit and debit cards are now accepted at the Frederick County Community Development Division. Customers can now pay for permits, inspections, and development review fees with their credit or debit card, either online, over the phone, or in person at the office. Please note that a service fee will be charged by the card processor for these transactions. We hope that this new convenience will further strengthen the Frederick Board of County Commissioners' business-friendly strategic goals as part of our Open for Business campaign. For more information, visit frederickcountymd.gov/community development or call 301-600-2313.